Hi, today I'm going to talk about using a glass plate in a sun catcher with stained glass style. So I started off with a glass plate. It was kind of like a cut crystal style clear glass plate, and you can buy them at used places, but this is actually one that I had from the family, and I wanted to do something with it. So I bought came, some leaded came, and this was in the H style so that it can wrap around the glass plate on one side, but then also have a groove on the other side that I can attach things to, because I wanted to put some crystals on the other side of it. So I got this came, and I am now, as you can see, I'm bending it around the fluted edge of the glass plate. Now, a fluted edge plate is just kind of a prettier look, I thought, than having like just a smooth round surface, but you can use whatever shape plate you happen to have, and you can even get plates that are colored, transparent designs in them. But the one that I had was just clear, so that's the one that I'm using right now. And I am slowly bending it around so that it can go around this plate. Now, the reason I'm using cane is because a plate is pretty darn heavy, and I didn't want to just use foil because that would not be strong enough. So I'm using leaded cane, and I wrapped it around, as you could see. Now I added flux, and I'm going to put solder at the joint and around the top, because I wanted the whole thing to be kind of the same color, because I might want to add patina later to it. I ended up just having it silver, but I never really can tell what I'm going to do until I'm done doing it. But as you can see, it's very pretty, clear color, and it has lots of facets, designs in the actual glass itself. Now, sometimes it's hard to get solder to flow nicely on leaded cane, but if you just work with it, put some flux on it, and do it slowly and smoothly, you can get a nice smooth coat of it. Now you can see that little hanger right there. I drilled a hole in the cane before I wrapped it around the plate, and I put a little hook out of wire on one side and then another one on the other side, and then just left the wire long so that it would have a long area to attach it to. Now, as you can see, I have lots of different glass. These are just clear glass. These were not faceted glass. There were clear glass circles and eye drops and ovals that I'm foiled, and I'm kind of jabbing them into that H channel there, as you can see. And I'm trying to get something to stick in there. Then I decided I'm going to try with a larger circle, and I'm going to put that circle into the groove itself a little bit and then solder it in. So I'm using that channel from the cane to help in securing my details that I'm putting along the outside. And as you can see, I'm also wrapping a wire around each one of the extra pieces of glass I'm putting on. This will just help with the strength of it. I'm using 22 gauge wire. You want to find a wire that you think works fine. You don't want to have a wire to wrap around your projects that is too stiff so that it doesn't really wrap easily, because you don't want to have like lots of kinks and stuff. That won't look very good. You want to kind of hide it by just going smoothly around your details. But you also don't want to have your wire really thin, because obviously the thinner the wire, the less strength it will give you. So you want to have some, the reason you would be adding a wire to the outside would be to add strength to it. So you want to have some beefiness to the wire. I wouldn't go anything smaller than like a 20 gauge. You can see how I added some solder there. All of these right now are upside down. These cabochon gems that I'm putting along the outside here, I'm going to turn the whole thing over afterwards, but I thought they would solder on easier if I did them upside down. But it really depends on whichever way works for you. It is difficult to hold them flat sometimes. Most of this video that I'm doing is going to be at 4 times to 8 times normal speed. So that's why it's kind of sped up right now, because it was getting a little bit on the boring side. But I just wanted to show you quickly how to add the different pieces. After I added them, I then floated solder on both sides of the project. So you can see that I added extra solder. I'm filling in any gaps that I have where the wire didn't go right against one of the pieces of glass. So I'm adding a little bit extra solder there so you don't just see the bare wire. And after I'm done with this side, I then turn it over to do the other side. If you have your temperature down on your iron so you're not cooking your solder too quickly, heating it up too quickly, you can slowly drag your solder along and make the solder flow nicely so it's a nice smooth joints. I did at times, besides using the pliers to hold the pieces in place while I was soldering them in, at times I did have to put silicone washers underneath them to help make them level. Because I wanted these glass details to be kind of one with the outside of the plate itself. I wanted them to be kind of on the same plane. So I wanted them all to be kind of level, if that makes sense. Now I'm putting flux, and this is really the top side that I'm now doing. Normally I usually do this first and then I turn it over, but because I thought it would be easier to keep them level, I did the other side first, and now I am floating solder on the top side of it. The pink glove I'm wearing is a silicone glove, and it's good to wear gloves when you're working with solder, because not only will it help protect your hand from the flux and other chemicals, it'll also help dissipate the heat somewhat. So if you happen to get a drop of solder on you, it won't be as glaringly burning immediately. You might have a moment to move your hand away before you get burned. And the silicone is kind of an insulator, so it does help you not get burned. So you can see why I floated solder on the actual cane also, because I wanted it to kind of blend in with the seams that are on the foil. When you're done with this, you don't really see the wire that I added around the outside. It just kind of all blends together. When I wrapped my glass detail pieces along the edge there, I did use the full thickness, the full width of your normal 7/32 inch foil, so that they actually did wrap around the pieces of glass quite nicely. I didn't want to just do the edges like I do sometimes for very small pieces. I wanted to have that extra support of having the foil actually wrap around the glass, because then your solder also wraps around. So here I'm trying to get the inside of each place by doing it on its edge. The solder wrapping around will help support it. Now I'm also adding another piece of wire along the outside. So I talked about that little hook that I put on the inside of the cane when I was making it. And now I'm putting another one. I know it's kind of hard to see because it kind of went off the page a little bit there. But I added another wire loop that went all the way around the bottom. So it starts on one end, and then it went for a while so that I could actually have some strength to it, and went for quite a ways before I cut it off and then went on the other side. Now this is just to add extra strength to where I'm going to hang my plate, because as you can imagine, the plate is quite heavy. After I washed it and cleaned it all off, I'm using this special Simichrome tube it's this kind of pinkish stuff, but it's great for shining up the solder and making it really, really pop and really shine. It also helps protect your solder, and as you can see, you just kind of rub it on, and you can let it dry a little bit, or you can just start right away and start buffing it away until it really, really shines. Now I'm using one of those microfiber cloths, so I'm just going to use this cloth once. You can buy a whole bunch of them. They're really inexpensive. I'm poking into an area to try to shine a little area I couldn't get to very easily. You can see there's some pink right there I wanted to get out. But and then buff, and it gets really, really shiny, which makes it quite attractive. And I ended up, this particular glass plate did not actually do rainbow effects, which was kind of a bummer, but it did look very pretty and shiny hanging in my window. Thanks for watching, and I hope this inspires you to take some transparent objects you have around the house, like plates, and do some art with them. Thank you. Bye.